Welcome again to another time on the Hangout with PF. We're so glad to have you join us once again. And last time we were discussing on understanding the power for continuity. And this time we want to expand on it to move it to another level. There's no how we'll talk about understanding without talking about wisdom. Wisdom is the bedrock of understanding. It's the bedrock for understanding. And the book tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, it says that wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. In all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee honor when thou embrace her. Okay? However, every wisdom that's available that we can get needs to be adapted to our situation. It's not enough to know. It's not enough to see what has worked for others. It's not enough to gather the notes, the manuscripts of others and their action plan and implement it directly into your situation, because how it worked for them might not necessarily be how it's going to work for you. And that's why the place and the purpose of understanding becomes essential for us to actually utilize every ounce of wisdom that we come across. So wisdom needs to be adapted to our situation. It needs to be transformed in such a way that it's applicable and useful in the very thing that we are passing through. Hence, the need for us to get understanding. Because without understanding, we cannot fully harness the power of wisdom and its provisions for you. It says, remember, I said that wisdom is the principal thing. We should get wisdom, and not like getting, we should get understanding. Because there is a way that you need to do it. There is a way you need to go about it in order to achieve the goals and the results that has been set before you, even from the foundations of the earth. And that is to tell us that wisdom can both be generic and specific. Generic in the sense that maybe somebody has achieved something in a particular field and they tell you this is how they did it, this is how they went about it. If you copy that same way, there's a probability that you would achieve the exact same results. But is that the result for you? Is that what God has in stock for you? Their own achievement is not necessarily your own achievement. It's a pointer. It's a pointer, and insight, a glimpse into what God has in stock for you. So it says that very important that meditation, the act of meditation, it helps us. It's the key to understand, to get the adapted instruction for our situation. Meditating to understand is the key to getting the adapted instruction for our very situation. Then also, before we go into the process of understanding, I want to lay some things very, very important. It says that there are no shortcuts to greatness. No, not at all. The wisdom way. As far as wisdom is concerned, there are no shortcuts. And also, you must not put your hand into anything that is evil or wicked. Once you do that, you violate the process that the wisdom is supposed to deliver to you, because God is the one who sets the path and not we ourselves. We do not know the exact way to go. God is the one who has set the path. So is it not better off if we connect with the one who knows the way and to do it in the way that is pleasing and acceptable to him? So now we go into the process of understanding. We talked about understanding, but today we want to break it down to the nitty gritty of how do we understand. How do we understand? Also in the book, say that there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty gives him understanding. The inspiration of the Almighty gives him understanding. So the very first process of understanding is hearing. Hearing. What do you hear? What are you hearing? What are the things that are available unto you? You're hearing. What are you hearing around you? What are you opening yourselves to? In other words, gather the knowledge. What is the window or the channel of knowledge that's available unto you? And the process of understanding starts with hearing. What you hear affects what you understand. What you hear, it affects what you understand. And in the hearing, you need to document. Don't say that your brain, you have a retentive memory. Yes, everybody has, but in the face of adversity, in the face of challenges, is what has registered in your heart, which we're going to get there shortly, that comes to play, not just the things that you have in your head. So documentation is very important when we talk about understanding, and this is because afterwards we are going to be required, that's stage number 2, to read what we have documented, to regurgitate what we have heard, and then study. Regurgitate what we have heard and study. It's at those points that we begin to draw other references apart from the things that we heard initially, and afterwards we go into a period of meditation. And one of the key purpose of the meditation is to retain the words, to retain the words, to retain what we have heard, to retain the things that we have discovered while we're studying. And also, the second thing that meditation does is that from the meditation, you receive the action plan. It is when you meditate on a subject, it's when you give out, you set yourself a time aside, you remove all the distractions, you regurgitate, you call back, you will begin to dwell on some particular findings, on some particular things that has been ignited into you while you were studying, and that's where you receive the action plan. Remember, I said before that every wisdom needs to be adapted to your situation, and it's only this can only be done by in the place of understanding and in the place of meditation. From meditation, you begin to receive insights, you begin to receive the instructions of the things that you need to do, and the last phase is to obey. In other words, those things that you have received in the place of meditation, you put them to work. Start to do them, start to implement them. It's very key. You can't just have insights and you have them written down in your book and not putting them to work. No, you need to take the step, take that leap of faith to put them to work. Remember, I said the last time we were on here that you can also get understanding from your experiences. In other words, when you have put some things to work and then you see the outcome, then you do a review. So these 5 steps, hearing, the studying, the meditation, the obedience, it has to be repetitive. It is a repetitive process. You don't stop it. If you want to grow in understanding, if you want to be grounded in understanding, it's a repetitive process. Under obedience, let me quickly say that as I begin to round up. It says it's calling to remembrance the things that you have been told to do, and to also do them. You don't stop obeying. You don't stop putting it to work. You don't stop taking the steps that are given, because there lies your preservation and your sustenance. I hope that these key points become our reality. And until I come your way next time. God bless you.